Come one, come all. Welcome to 5 a.m. Motivation. I'm very excited about this message today that I'm going to give to you because it's about being a competitor. Compete on every level. Yes, compete on every level. Have that drive. Search for that drive. God gave it to you. You just have to find it. Get up. Be ready. You have to get up every day ready to compete on the level it is that you're on. Whether you are a professional athlete or a janitor at a high school, it's time to compete every day to extend yourself to the next level and then do it again. Most of us give up too quickly and we stop competing and we settle for watching others continue to win. Don't settle. Here's my thing. I'm not intimidated by anyone. I can tell you the last time I was intimidated by someone, I was 24 and I worked at an insurance company, entry-level position. And the person who hired me got moved to another location and I had a new manager. He was older than me, but still young. He dressed nice, looked smart, walked around confident. And I was immediately intimidated because I didn't know how he was going to be as a manager. Long story short, I'm not going to get into it, but he ended up being an amazing person. And all those feelings I had about him were false. See, what I'm trying to say is I created an illusion that made me worry for nothing. After that, I said I would never be intimidated by anyone. Why do I talk about intimidation? Because intimidation will stop us from being a competitor. Think about all those times when LeBron James went to the finals 8 straight years. They were intimidated by him. Don't be intimidated. That's the first step. I will walk up to the smartest, richest guy in the room or with the highest title and I'll have a conversation. No problem. No problem. You know why? Because I learned to compete on every level. I learned that titles are just that, titles. And just because you have more responsibility than me doesn't make you any better than me or give the right for me to feel inferior. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect you. Don't get my words misconstrued. I respect your title, but I don't fear it. And they will respect me. You know why? Because they won't smell the fear coming off my attire. You remember when you were young and you came across a stray dog? I mean, most of us, in the hood, a lot of stray dogs, you know what I'm saying? I got bit by one, Anyways, you come across a stray dog and you were told never to act scared because if the dog sensed you were scared, it would attack. It's the same thing with people, unfortunately. Too many times in my day, I have seen people in power attack others because they smelled fear and they knew they could get away with it. Watch out for those people. This is important in order to compete every day on the level because you can't be scared of the level above you. You can't be scared of the level above you if you're going to compete to get off your current level. Now, there is one thing that you have to have in order to compete. Some people are born with it. Some people have to find it. But I believe anybody can attain it. And that's drive, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have drive. You have to have drive in order to compete. It's that simple. Without it, you stay stagnant, stationary, like a parked car. You're stuck looking for the key. Don't be stuck. I got a couple stories I want to share with you. See, the great thing about this, you can relate your experience in life, in your past life, to what you're doing now. And this is one of those moments. I was athletic growing up. I played sports. My main sport was basketball. I was good at it. I was a small guy too. I remember so many times going to play and people would count me out and overlook me. Made me laugh every time. Overlooked me because of my size. But then when I got the ball, game over. Every time. It did not matter the age or the size or how great the team was. I competed. There was a lot of standout moments in my day, but I'm not going to go through all of them. We'll be here all day, and I don't want to get off track. But I'm going to tell you 3 stories that really stand out to me where I had to up my game and compete on that level. Okay? When I was in middle school, every middle school, early high school, but mainly 7th, 8th grade. I think it was around that time. My best friend at the time, Naeem, and I went undefeated in 2-on-2 basketball. We would play in our neighborhood. We would travel on our bikes to other neighborhoods. It didn't matter. And we would win every time. And people hated it, but we would win. Now, Naeem wasn't as good as me, but he had something that I didn't have. He ran his mouth because he knew I was practically unguardable. So he would get into people's heads, and I would just stay calm and dominant. Remember that for later. Calm and dominant. The littlest guy, calm and dominant. And once we knew we hadn't lost, when we had that epiphany, like, man, we haven't lost, and people kept challenging us, guess what we had to do? We had to step our game up to the next level. When we were challenged, it made us take it more serious. And every game we played became more intense and more aggressive. And we competed on each level and rose to the occasion. And we never got beat. My sophomore year. Now, I don't think there are a lot of people who actually know this story. And this is something that really happened. My sophomore year, myself, TJ Welton, Naeem Abdullah, and Dave Newman, we were in the gym. And somehow they got me to play one-on-one against David. And I bet I know how this all started. I'm sure Naeem probably was talking stuff, saying how I could beat Dave. And Dave was like, nah. And then Dave was like, well, let's do it. He had seen me do other players in so often, all these years, playing 2-on-2. He was really confident that I could beat Dave. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Dave Newman. He was no scrub. Okay, he was a senior. I was a sophomore. He was named Mr. Basketball for Iowa that year. He went on to play in the Big Ten at Northwestern, and him and TJ took their team to the state championship that year. I had an immense amount of respect for him. But when I was challenged to play him and beat him, during those 15 minutes or so, I could care less about any of those accolades. I wasn't intimidated. Now, I don't think you guys know how good this guy was. He was the best. And he could really handle the rock, was quick, and could shoot lights out. But he wasn't Brian Clark. Now, it wasn't my time to shine in high school yet. It was his time to shine. But that didn't mean I couldn't play. You know what? I beat Dave that day. And TJ and Naeem are still around to confirm this event. So if you ever see him, ask him. Compete on every level, ladies and gentlemen. The third and final story before I hit this to the end. I was in college in West Palm Beach, Florida. Long story short, I made the team as a walk-on. I got hurt. Did not come back the next year. The coach was disliked, and the team was miserable on campus every day. It had no life. You know, I didn't want to chain my life down like that, especially when I recognized my dream to be in the NBA was over. So I moved on. And I picked a new passion, and that was making music. And I still do it to this day. But I was still able to play because we had an intramural league on campus. And you would have a lot of former players from college and high school, good players, playing in this league, and they would form their own teams. Now, this is Florida, and this league's legit. So legit, we would have more people on campus come to our league games than the official basketball team did. It was crazy, okay? First off, again, I was counted out on campus when I first got there. Oh, you from Iowa? Man, you can't play. More of the same. Until I gave their starting point guard, who was on scholarship, the business. That opened their eyes quick. So my senior year, I was pretty good. I was on a pretty good team, and I was a leading scorer. I would say I was right in the middle of my prime at the time in my life playing basketball. I just knew how to put the ball in the basket. So we swept through the league, and the week before the championship game, all the boys from the other team were talking big talk all week, how they were going to beat us, and that they had so-and-so, and who could jump out the gym, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I remember my buddy Earl. Earl, I hope you're listening to this, man, because you talked the most that week. I remember the look on his face when I dropped like 30 on them in the championship game. Crowd was going crazy, hitting threes, back to back. The look on their faces were priceless. That was probably the highlight of my basketball run, I won't lie. But I say all that to say this. Here we go now. I always stepped up to the challenge. And now that I'm in the corporate game of my life, I use those same techniques today that I did on the court. Humble, quiet, respectful, calm, and you guessed it, dominate. But when it's time to advance or compete or do a project or a presentation, etc., guess what, guys? I compete on every level. The drive no longer goes towards the sport of basketball, but to the sport of life. And that's what you have to understand. Take what you used to have that drive for as a kid and apply it to your life now. So many of us just stay stagnant and we just give in to what our life is now. And we all have a passion to do something else. And I'm telling you right now that you can still do that. When I'm recording an album, I'm going to make the best album, hands down. You aren't going to tell me different. When I have a customer in front of me who could potentially buy a vehicle from me, I'm going to do everything it takes to sell them that car. I'm not going to walk around saying I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I just do it. Get it done just like I did those years on the basketball court. I don't care if you have more experience than me, etc. I'm going to show you now what I'm doing. And I'm going to show you that I know what I'm doing and that I belong and that I'm valuable. And that's what you have to take. You have to show these people that you're valuable, that you know what you're doing, okay, that you're not intimidated, all right, that you're going to compete. You're not going to take no for an answer. You're going to work for that promotion. You're going to get it. You're going to step up. Look, it doesn't matter what level you are on in life financially, career-wise, or position you may have. You may be coming off the bench on a college team somewhere. You may have intimidators at your workplace trying to keep you down so they can rise. You may be going up against a group of people every day trying to single you out to break you. You may have those people on the sideline like I did in that championship game saying you don't have skill. You may be at the top of your game and people are chasing you, trying to get you to give them their spot, to give up your spot for them. I mean, the list goes on and on, people. At the end of it all, this is for the underdogs. This is for you. I made this so you know to go out and compete on every level. Take that position seriously and do it your very best. I don't care if it's roasting chickens at Costco. Be the best chicken roaster they've ever seen. Okay? I don't care if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's. I actually did that once. You know what? I took it seriously. You have to do the very best on the level you are on if you want to move to the next level. It's called life mastery. And I'm going to do a segment on life mastery at some point. Compete. Challenge yourself to be great. Don't settle for your current state. Always look to improve and continue to climb. That's what God wants you to do. But you have to take your levels seriously. You can't skip levels. Man, most people who get skipped up, meaning they just get handed something they don't really deserve, somehow show their true colors of lack of abilities in that area that they're in, and they fall down sometimes. And sometimes they fall down a couple levels. I've seen it. People get promoted when they aren't even the right person for the job, but someone liked them, so they got moved up. And that's okay. And you know what? You're going to still keep fighting. You're going to earn it the right way. Because those people will always show their true colors, like I said, and they will always fall. And what happens in the dark will come out in the light. And believe me, I've seen it. In every industry that I've worked in, I've seen it. Okay? But regardless, find that drive you had for something when you were growing up and apply it to what you're doing today. And I promise you, it will get you to the next level. I'm in sales now, and I apply my basketball drive to what I do every day. I say to myself, oh, you're not gonna outsell me. Oh, you're not going to buy that car from someone else. Yes, I'm the person you want to work with. I'm going to give you the best buying experience out there is, okay? I even use the details of basketball for my mental state every month. Hey, self, I miss every shot that I don't take. You get that? You miss every opportunity that you don't take. Or I may not sell to 5 people in a row. And I'll tell myself, hey, you're in a shooting slump. You're off this week. But guess what? A shooter keeps shooting and shoots his or her way back into the game. And that's how you keep your mental state. So when you're doubting yourself, when you're telling yourself that you're no good and that this is the only thing that you're going to be able to do in your life, I've seen it. I've seen it with my close friends, with my family members. And guess what? I tell them, no, you can do it. You can go out there and be better. You can go out there and get that position. There is more for you. You just have to have that self-talk and go get it. And guess what? Most of those people take my advice and they do it. And I have more stories to tell you that. And that's another segment. What it is you are telling yourself every day to receive the best results, you have to compete. Okay? You have to tell yourself positive things to receive the best results, but you have to compete. You may even get to the point where you outdid everyone and now you're just competing with yourself. Now that's when you've completed your level and you are ready for the next challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my message for today. Suit up, be ready to compete on every level. This is 5 a.m. up early to spread the word, to give you the motivation, to show you that there is a way, a will. You have the power, you have the foundation, okay? Keep the negativity out of your mind. Keep the negative people out of your space. Focus on you. Focus on what you believe in. Focus on your values. Attain what is yours. Go get it. Don't be intimidated. And lastly, have that drive to compete on every level. Peace.